about 1974, we were Rick and I were in the process of kind of preparing for an album on Polydor Records. We'd been kind of searching for a label and all that. So we were writing songs and recording when we could. And we were actually based out of Los Angeles in those days. And we came up with a song. It was sort of about the mythical, I'm not sure whether it's an Aesop's fable or whatever, but the mythical, magical boots you can put on to cross oceans and mountains to find your true love, to find true love. I don't know whether we just made that up one night or, yeah, it's an ancient tale, that's it. So Seven League Boots was the title of this song that we recorded out at Sound City when we first got to know Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham and their engineer Richard Dashett. This was during the Buckingham Nicks period, and Buckingham Nicks had just been thrown off Polydor, and why we'll never know, but Polydor just didn't know what to do with a group like Buckingham Nicks. They had a song called Monday Morning on their album, a song called Landslide on their album, that became monster hits for not only Fleetwood Mac, but for other people as well. So anyway, back to Seven League Boots. We cut the song at Sound City and made a really nice recording of it with the Curtis Brothers singing it. And Stevie and Patty and I did the background vocals. So on the demo, Stevie Nicks is on it, and Tom's playing the solo on it. And when we finally made the Polydor album, we did not include it for unbeknownst reasons. I don't really remember why not. And I remember when we had the album playing party, there were a lot of people there. And there was a friend of Lindsay's, one of these really rich cocaine-y people, with a $5,000 suit and all that. And he was like poking me in the chest saying, "You guys are nuts. You should have put that song on the album." And I go, "No, we're not nuts. It didn't belong there, So it was one of those things. Everybody in LA has an opinion, and this guy had his. Of course, he also had all the blow too. So I guess that's probably why he was at the party. But I never had met him before, so I don't know who he was really. But still, that kind of impressed me that this guy thought, we were stupid not to put that song on the Polydor album. However, the story, the plot thickens. So about 5 or 6 years later, Stephen Stills was on tour with Crosby, Stills and Nash in Europe, and our good friend and publisher Ken Weiss was kind of hanging with Stephen and driving him around. They rented a great big gigantic Mercedes and kind of split off from the tour bus group, and we're going through the Alps, and Kenny had a tape of some Curtis Brothers songs and was just playing, this cassette in the car with Stephen. And Stephen heard Seven League Boots and inquired, "What the heck is that? I really like that." He says, "Ask him if I can, play with that, So since it was kind of a throwaway song for us, we said, "Sure," Once he got back, he said, "Yeah, Stephen was interested in this." And we said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. We're not doing anything with it." So he in turn had, at that point in his life, he had just gotten divorced from this French singer, his wife, Véronique Sanson, and was all depressed and hanging around LA and not being productive. And a couple of his buddies came to him and said, "You need to get out of town. So you need to come sailing with us." So they jump on a masted ship of some sort and sail down into the South Pacific. And when he gets back, he's got these lyrics that he's not quite sure what to do with. He puts the two and two together, and therefore all the sailing jargon in the song, and pretty much puts the song together. Now he cuts it for an album on Columbia that had Bonnie Bramlett and a bunch of different people. It was kind of a mishmash of different kinds of tunes and no real center theme kind of a thing. It was just Stephen Still songs, and Southern. It was called Southern Cross, and that was on that record. But that record never got released, and for reasons, for whatever reason, and Stephen got together with Graham and David and started working on an album called Daylight Again. That album ended up having Southern Cross on it. And it was interesting because the song was so long that they were trying to make it a single. The first single off the album was Wasted on the Way. And they were trying to make Southern Cross a single. And we're going through all these different mixing things, cutting, editing here, trying to take this out. And I remember Stanley Johnson telling me that one day everybody said, we're not sure what we're going to do with this, but it's too long, nobody will play it. So everybody went to lunch, and Stanley said, I just went over and just went, well, look, just fade it right here. And when they got back from lunch, he played them the fade that he had done, and they all just said, that's it. So that became the second single. I think it went to like 18 on the charts that year. It was like November of 82, something like that. And, you never know about a song, whether it's going to be a classic or get a lot of airplay or not, and you just never know, because Crosby, Stills, and Nash have had a lot of songs that came out and sounded good, but don't get the kind of rotation airplay that Southern Cross, Wasted on the Way, Carry On, some of those songs. So anyway, that was history until the 90s when Jimmy Buffett cut the song. I got a call from somebody one night late, and they were at a concert in Knoxville, Tennessee. And they said, Curtis, you're never going to believe this. And he holds up his phone, and I'm hearing Southern Cross on the other end. I go, well, what's that? He says, I'm at a Jimmy Buffett concert. And Buffett, I guess in his shows, would do all his own material except for 3 songs. And Brown Eyed Girl was one of the songs that they would do that were not Jimmy Buffett songs. And apparently he replaced Brown Eyed Girl with Southern Cross and actually put it on a live album called Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, which is what their tour schedule is. And if you've ever been out for 3 months at a time, you do 4 or 5 days in a row and you're exhausted, and you get a day off in some little town in a Holiday Inn somewhere along the side of a highway, sometimes. So it's not always a pretty life. But so when you're doing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, that's a really nice, easy tour schedule. And of course, Buffett can pull that off. So anyway, that's the story of Southern Cross, and I guess I'm going to have to stick to it. So.